Alright, what's up guys? Let me just double check that I'm up real quick. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, it might take a fat minute. Well, not a fat minute, but I'm just making sure I'm live on YouTube. Okay, cool. Looks like everything is up. Welcome to the stream, guys. So right now I'm just like working on some concept art for my game. Pretty much I'm gonna put some gameplay video on the bottom left, and it's on loop. There's some bugs in it, but you know, I figured it'd help add context to what I'm drawing, you know. Cool. Looks like I got a chat. Let me double check real quick. It's not popping up.
You're making game art?
Yeah, I'm doing some cool stuff. What?
Looks pretty hard.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm like doing it for like Steam capsules, but I figured it would take a couple tries to get good Steam capsules. Thank you, Sudoku. Thanks for tuning in and just chilling out. I'm usually a pretty like quiet dude, but if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm more than happy to talk. How hard is it to make a video game? So it's kind of complicated because it kind of depends on your scope. If you're like making a small game, it's not too bad, and the learning process is fun. But once you're the scale of your game, it starts to get big, and if you don't have like a good like not coding support, but if you're like if you like if you have a bad foundation, it becomes a little harder once your project like starts to balloon up with assets, and then your lines of code starts to increase drastically. So it's like it's definitely its own learning curve. It's I'll say it's like kind of hard, but it's also pretty accessible to learn. Um, the biggest thing is just like um, try not to like make an RPG or like something huge when you're first learning. I use a Game Maker Studio, and as far as like I'm not really much of a programmer, but as far as like getting the grasp of learning how to program, that software has been super nice. And then I think another thing you have to think about too is when you're making a game, depending on oh, you using Game Maker for yours? That's what I got. Dude, it's so nice. I was using it since it was like Game Maker 7 when I was like freaking probably like 12 years old. That's when I like started playing around with Game Maker. And then I started like getting back into it this year, and next you know it jumped to Game Maker 2, and it felt so weird. Like I felt old getting used to like the new program. But no, I highly recommend Game Maker. It's just such a good software. What kind of game you thinking of, or like what kind of game you're trying to make? Hell yeah, dude. That would be awesome. Let's see. If you when like making that kind of stuff, I would say maybe like I think his name's Payne Berman, his YouTube channel, but like he has a pretty good like tutorial on like making item systems and whatnot, and that's been so invaluable for me. Oh, thank you. So pretty much in the bottom left, I know it's like kind of small, but I'm pretty much making a roguelike. The premise is, what if you're a pirate and with your friends, and you kind of just go around sailing and then kind of get like little power-ups like Risk Your Rain, where you and your ship progressively get stronger, and then you have like one life, and then if you die, you go back to the hub, and then you can use your runs to like get a little bit stronger each time, and that's kind of like the gameplay loop. Um, I used to play like too much Chivalry 2, so I took the combat kind of like inspired by that, where it's like more like counter bait, or like where you're more like countering. Slurp.pdf, SLURRPED, and then PDF. Oh, the channel name. Sorry, I totally misread that. So PEY Burham. You might have seen his videos before, but he's this guy. He does he has a good dialogue tutorial, which is like pretty awesome, that I used, and then his inventory, and what he uses is structs, and those are like super helpful. But yeah. Honestly, it took me like, I think I was like maybe 2 months in, or like I started like my first month in getting back into Game Maker, and then I had to come back to it like 2 months in for it to make sense. So I totally get you on that, man. But yeah, I think my like biggest, not flaw, but I had some success, but it was fun to learn. Honestly, you learn so much from failing. I mean, that's how I learned a lot of my stuff, is like figuring out what not to do. But it was like one of the biggest like programming problems I would like run into is like I'd be too dependent on making objects for everything. So instead of like making code that like is streamlined, I just have like too many objects that do a certain thing, and I'm like checking for objects. But it took me a while to break out of that bad habit. Because it's funny, I feel like Game Maker, it lets you get away with some poor habits, and then you'll like pay the price in the end. But yeah, how long you been using the program for? So you're building your game as so you're building your game with Chivalry 2 combat. That sounds complicated. I've used it about a year. Now that I got into music making. Hell yeah, dude. I love FL Studio. I'm like not good with it, but it's like such a fun program. So yeah, as far as like the Chivalry 2, so um pretty much the way they did their combat was they had three types of attacks, like overhead, stab, and slash. And then as long as you press block and match the attack, that's how you counter. So that's like the main takeaway I did. So it was like you go into a block phase, or you click block, and then if you match the other person's attack, which is like a variable, usually it's like attack, your slash is equal to 1, stab's equal to 2, overhead's 3. As long as you click block and you're in the countering state and you match the incoming projectile, then it kind of reads it as a successful counter. So that was like the main thing I took away, and then the jabs of like interrupting your different states. Yeah, pretty much like rock paper scissors. It was like it's definitely a lot harder, or I had to like improvise because it's like top down instead of 3D, which is like kind of funny. So instead of like overheads, it's kind of hard to like make an overhead read when you're looking top down. So I kind of like changed that into like a spinny attack, and then it just does 2 slashes and just makes it slow. So it's like kind of deviating, but I don't know. It feels good for me. I can't say if it feels good for other people, which I'm gonna have like a play test pretty soon. But if you want, I can send you an executable of my file, and then I'd love to hear your input. Yeah, I used to animate for a fat minute. I started game development and then learned to animate through that, and then I did some like little animation projects, and then slowly went back to game dev. Dude, yeah. Let's see. I'll let's see. Maybe I'll send you a DM on YouTube so I'm not like putting it on the stream. Let me see if I can find you. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Trying to figure out a good way to reach you, to be honest. Um, Let's see. Any any preferred ways of communication? I can't find you on YouTube for some reason. Or Discord. Oh, yeah, honestly, Discord's perfect. Let me pull that up real quick. Discord. Let's see. I'll put my Discord. Oh my gosh, I don't want to. Jeez, I'm so rusty at streaming. Let's see. Let me try to find my profile details, and I'll send it your way. But I think if you type in Chris Godbout, you should be able to find me on Discord. I'm trying to find my friend code, but I got streamer mode enabled. CHRIS and then GODBOUT. Let's see. I think if you go on my channel too, this will take you to my Discord, maybe? And then I should be able to find you through there, but CHRIS GODBOUT. Let's see. And then I'll keep an eye on a request. I lost my chat. Alright, there we go. Yeah, let me know if you run into any problems. I'll try to see what I can do. Does it seem to be doesn't seem to be working when I click it. See, from my link, maybe? Let's see. Let me pull up. Let me find my username and then I'll let's see. I'll type it in chat and maybe that might work. Let's see. So it should show up that on that if you see me on if you try to add me as a friend. And then my profile should like be like this guy right over here. Sorry about that. I'm pretty rusty with like Discord. Once I figured out how to like voice chat with my friends, I was like, ah, that's all I need it for. Oh, hell yeah. Awesome. Sorry, it probably was a lot more complicated than it needed to be. Let's see. I'll see if I see you. Oh, perfect. I see you, and then I'll add friend. And then let me make a quick compile of the most recent version. And then I'll send it your way. Sick, man. Heck yeah. Let's see. So I will say like my UI is like still developing it, so it's definitely on the rough end as far as like explaining everything and then having it look good, but um when you go to doors or like openings, just press space or A, and then you have to hold it, but that's how you go into the next room. I haven't made a pop-up for that, so just a quick heads up. Um, Let me export it. Let's see. Does zip work pretty well for you? Or zip files? Sick. Awesome. And then I'll put it on. I'm not sure if Discord has a megabyte or a file limit. So I'll put it on my Google Drive and then I'll share you that link in chat. Go. Then uploading it right now. Alright, almost there. Let's see. Share. Make it so it's not restricted. Alright. As far as hours I've put into a game, probably Chivalry 2. As far as like memorable, ooh, I'd say Kingdom Come Deliverance or Risk of Rain. Those are like my two top games up there. What about you, man? Oh, yeah, let me know if that link worked for you. If not, I can find a different way. Oh man, I've been wanting to play the new Kingdom Come Deliverance too. I've been I got laid off like a couple months ago, so I was like, once I find a new job, that's gonna be like my reward. If I play it right now, I'm just not gonna find a job. Dude, yeah, it's definitely rough out there, man. So far my biggest because I've been applying a good amount of places, but I haven't heard back. But I did go through temp agencies, and I might have my like interview this month or this week, and hopefully they'll find at least something for me, you know. But yeah, all the other companies are like laying off, and it's kind of rough for surely. And it's funny. I feel like what do you call it? Like 2 years ago, it was like pretty easy for me to like find and like switch jobs or like find places to work at. And then this year, it's just been like radio silence everywhere. Um, let's see. When I was usually up to, they gave me like a couple extra. Um, they gave me extra spending money, but as far as like living off of, not really. Doing commissions, I've definitely like made decent like spending money cash, but as far as being able to just only do commissions to support myself, I haven't got there yet. One day though. But I feel like part of that was on me because um, I kind of like went radio silent on YouTube when I was working full time at Crunchyroll, so I kind of abandoned a lot of my audience in a way because I was just swamped with that work. Aw, thank you, man. That that means a lot. That's that definitely made my day because I don't know. I've been like applying for like a lot of other like graphic design jobs, and I've just been getting like radio silence. So like that helped a lot. Um, let's see. So I did the e-commerce section of Crunchyroll. Let's see. I'll pull up kind of what I did around there. So pretty much, I just did like a lot of like ads for them that they'll send for like email campaigns. It was fun. I loved my team, and the workload, it was like hectic, but it was hectic in a good way, and I learned a lot. But Yeah, they had like a reorganization and they cut a lot of their contractors contract around January, and I don't even think like my whole team, what do you call it? I think most of the team I worked with got disbanded too, so. But as far as like a work environment, I mean, they're all pretty chill. It was definitely like the best job I've had so far. Dude, I feel you, man. It's competitive everywhere, to be honest. I feel like, but especially as an artist, and then right now where we're like somewhat in a recession, a lot it's a lot harder to make sales, or like everyone's a bit more cautious right now as far as like spending money, which, I get it. But who knows? Maybe in the future, once the economy gets back up, it'll probably be easier slash sustainable. But it's weird. I feel like half of it is just like there's like, yeah, there's being an artist, and then there's like being a content creator, and like unless you're like a master content creator skills, it matters, but being able to be a good content creator slash influencer takes trumps talent, I feel like, at least right now. I totally feel you, man. What do you usually like to do for fun? Oh, dude, thank you so much. Part of me, ah, that feels good because sometimes it's you like get in your like little bubble, and then like, yeah, I have my friends and whatnot, and I like we play tests and whatnot, but having like an outside perspective makes it feel like validating. So it's like having it having that makes me feel a lot more confident that it feels good to play, because that was like my biggest worry was like, for me it feels good, but like for other people, especially if I'm not explaining things yet, part of me is worried that it might feel weird. Dude, hell yeah. Do you have where do you usually post your music at? I'd love to hear some of it. I like making music for art. Oh yeah, for your JRPG, for your RPG, as far as like a setting route, is it like futuristic or more like fantasy? Heck yeah. So like kind of like Persona 5-ish where it's like kind of modern and then they have like fantasy and whatnot. That's sick though. Dude, yeah, if you ever stream your development or share it online, definitely send it my way. I love to like keep up on that progress. Pirates on airships in the sky is kind of a vibe though. Hell yeah, dude, thank you. I'll be honest, so part of the reason why I did like airships and then in the sky was I kind of was like thinking like hot air balloons and I didn't want to program like your square rotating because there's just a lot of different math that I have to include. So I was like, all right, if I make it squares that kind of float around like hot air balloons, and if I make it a sky, that means I don't have to do swimming animations. So like, but I don't know, it's kind of fun. I half of it was through like trying to limit my scope, and the other half was like kind of trying to make it feel fun to play and make sense. Oh, I don't think I mentioned, but for camera controls, I think N and M, that's how you zoom in and out. I haven't made like a good automatic system yet, at least for keyboard. I think N and then controllers, it's the up and down D-pad, which is kind of useful. So I started it in November, was kind of when I first started building it. Let's see. I might have an older version that I can show you like the before and after. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, roughly around 6 months, I would say. I got to that point. There we go. Here's some old footage. Let's see. Let me see if I can figure out how to switch windows real quick. Give me a one sec. Do keys control left arrow. Well, having a hard time figuring out how to switch my game window to my recording screen. Well, one of these days I'll figure it out. But thank you, man. Yeah, I think a lot of it was just have honestly, if I didn't watch a lot of Paint's tutorials, like I would have like had such like rocky foundations. So I have to like he's kind of the main reason why I've like made it this far. But thank you, man. Link to my music I made for an art show. Ooh. Let's see. I think you're still finding the link unless I'm missing it, but you mind if I play it on stream? Let's see. Not sure if you posted the link or not, but I'm not seeing it here. Maybe send it on my Discord and I'm not sure if YouTube, what do you call it, takes off links from chat or something. In the art shirt tab. Perfect. I totally misread that. My bad.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10
Gotta love
consecutive years
ads.
and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Dude, hell yeah. Dude, yeah, it gives me like RuneScape vibes, which is sick. Or like more modern RuneScape vibes, if that makes sense. But dude, this is solid. What's up? Drawing and streaming.
Looks good.
Yeah. How long you been making music for? I know.
Something.
You too. Dang, only a year? Dude, solid work. Did you have any like outside training? Like, did you play instruments before? Or you just started with composing? Made over 100 songs over the summer. I just started composing after I got inspired by Nubu Utsuman. Dude. Oh yeah, man, you put in the work. This is solid.
What do you mean body wash? I use bar soap. Old Spice Fresh Collection. It's really good for soft skin. Shower stuff for skin. That's only for women. Men have skin too. It's 2019. I'm tired of being ashy and you need body wash. No, I don't.
I think it put me on a different guy. That's funny. Dude, at first I thought it was like an ad and whatnot. I thought it was just a really good Old Spice ad. Hell yeah, man. Especially with no training, dude, this is solid. Um, I do not. Sometimes let's see.
Hey, bro, you need some Old Spice body wash? What do you mean
Jesus,
body
this
wash?
song
It's
came
bar
back
soap.
again.
Old Spice Fresh Collection. It's really good for soft skin.
Let's see, let me pull up at least a job post I usually lurk around. But usually, um, every like every couple like weeks, I look through workwithindies.com to see what people are posting as far as like different jobs. But kind of, I feel like it's been pretty, as far as like the trying to find jobs in gaming, it's been like pretty rough. Well, actually, like a lot of places, it's just rough in general if it's not essential. But work with indies is like an interesting thing to like at least keep an eye out. That's kind of I usually like just keep my eye out on those postings and whatnot. Let's see, maybe have you tried posting on Reddit? I know there's forget what the sub's name. I think it's like work with game devs or something. But usually there's that might be a good way to find different smaller studio or by studios like a team to work with. But I like your stuff, man. Like if you have a library I can look through, I'd be down to like license a song or two. By license I mean like by permission to use it in my game. Yeah, no worries. I totally get that. Dude, I feel it. And it's like I don't know, I feel like you never stop learning. You're always learning something new, which is a good and bad thing. Because it's like the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. But at the end of the day, it's when you get to that point, it's a good sign because it means that you're learning enough to know that there's stuff that you don't know. But dude, keep on your music journey. And your game journey. I feel ya, man. It's like, I don't know, there's, especially on like game dev, there's just so many hats to wear, and there's only enough time and resources to master a couple of those crafts. And then it's like, there's not enough. Most of the time, we're tight on budgets and whatnot. I feel like that's a very, very common occurrence. So it's like, you have limited resources, limited knowledge, but it's about making that work. Or like leaning into your strengths. Oh, I'm not sure if you're into programming or whatnot, but this Discord group, the Game Maker friend group, I've been they're pretty chill. It's definitely a smaller community, but if you ever like run into troubles, Uneven Pixel, he's like the main dude that runs it. He's like a pretty good programmer, and he's helped me through some stuff too. So like, I usually I like to post there as far as upgrades, cause it's like a small group, but they help keep me motivated. Slash, if I run into troubles, they're pretty friendly and they help out a lot. Cause sometimes like on other forums, I feel like um they get a little snooty if you don't know like simple things, which is like kind of a turn off to ask for help. But that forum is like one of the few places where they don't make you feel dumb for not knowing a niche piece of info or a basic piece of info, because you know it's all a learning process. Ooh, as far as estimate goes, so I think by next year, that's when I want to do the announcement slash make another YouTube channel dedicated to devlogs. As far as like release date, I want a demo out by next year for like the gameplay. And then as far as full release, I'm just gonna put 2029 to give myself room, because I don't know, every time I like set a project, everything that goes wrong, and like there's always a setback, and everything takes 3 times longer than you think, no matter what project you're doing. So on the safe side, 2029, and that will just like give me time to like do marketing along with a lot of other stuff. But the nice part is I feel like I've like built a solid fundamental, so it's just a matter of adding stuff. And then the reason why I'm like giving myself such a long padding time is so I have time to market and whatnot. But I'm hoping for like 2029 for like a release. And then that honestly depends like how my new works when I get a new job, to see how my like new work schedule lines up. Cuz I've been fortunate as far as like being able to like do game dev full time for now, but pretty soon, once I have to balance another full-time job, I'm gonna kind of see how much energy I have to do programming. But 2029 is my guess. Hopefully. But I think as far as like a solid trailer slash like solid demo next year. Thank you. Kinda, like, I've learned a lot on the fly, to be honest. Like, I can make things work, but as far as like, what do you call it? There's definitely a lot of imposter syndrome going on where it's like, I can brute force things to make it work eventually, but scalability slash cleanliness of it, even like, I don't know, my brother and cousin, they always meme on my code because it's just such like a caveman way of coding. But then again, having a fun game doesn't equal having good code or the quality of the code. You can still have a fun game and have the worst code possible. Like, I think Undertale, he's Toby Fox, he always gets memed on because he has like horrible code, but I mean, he still made a super good game, which gives me hope. Yeah, I want my game to be like a more interactive. Hell yeah, dude. That's sick. And it's like, as far as like, not code wise, but like technicality wise of Undertale, like it's so doable. So that's like definitely a good, what do you call it? It's definitely a good goal. Toby Fox is great. Too bad the internet scared him and all that. I feel, yeah, the internet and the public can definitely be scary. He's like, his music's so freaking good too. And like, he definitely like leaned into like his music and writing a good story. And it's like, I feel like you don't. I think what like worked the best for him is like he leaned into his strengths, and that's like the beauty of like game development is like you can lean into your strength and make something like super cool. Because it's like you can only specialize in so many things, so just leaning into your strengths and what you're good at is like probably the most important thing as far as like indie development. Dude, thank you. I'm definitely stoked I like changed this sky um to pink instead of blue. As much as I like the blue, his jacket was like blending in too much. But he definitely pops out a lot more. But yeah, if you have any critique on my game, I'd love to hear it, because there's definitely stuff I've like pushed to the back burner slash I've become like blind to. So if you ever have any suggestions, please let me know. I'm definitely really receptive to like feedback. Or if there's anything cool you think, anything cool to add, definitely let me know. I think the smaller enemies like the eye monsters have a tiny bit too much health, but the playtests, but I would playtest that more, cause okay, hell yeah, dude, I appreciate that. I'll definitely look into that, cause I think that's pretty valid, to be honest, especially since they're so small. That's like hard to hit them. So that by the time you do actually hit them, they got all this health. It kind of makes it annoying. But hell yeah, dude, thank you. More buildings you can go into, and secrets. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I definitely want to make more of that. I've been doing a little bit more concept art, because I do want to like make more like what do you call it, interesting buildings instead of like a copy paste. So I'll definitely, once I start doing pixel art stuff of like inside buildings, I'll definitely stream those. Dude, bless. I appreciate it. It's also a local co-op, so if you ever have a friend too and you wanna, I'm gonna try to balance for single player, because a lot of the times, sometimes I feel like it's like better to balance it for like a single player experience, but the game's definitely meant to be played with like a friend, because it's kind of like a crew. But if you ever have a friend to play with, definitely let me know how that experience is. It also works with a controller too and whatnot. I haven't made any like key bindings for it yet, but that is the goal. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. far as work stuff, what's your like specialty slash if you're going to school or whatnot? Heck yeah, dude. So you do like a lot of painting and whatnot? Any like specific medium? Hell yeah, dude. You got Instagram? I'll show you a follow. Or YouTube. Watercolor tradition pen? Hell yeah. Watercolor is so hard, like, props to you. Share my Instagram. Shared my Instagram earlier. Let me see. Let me scroll through it real quick. Cool. So let me double check, because I definitely could have missed it. Might be blind. I can't find it. I saw your SoundCloud. Right. This is your Discord. Oh, let me double check that. Sounds good, dude. Thanks for tuning in. You know, I hella appreciate you. You have a good one, man.
Dude, it was today that I learned that there's an artist named Quan Mills, and he writes books like this. Pregnant by my granddaddy's boyfriend.
Wow.
Dude, look at this one. It's a book about a fucking 68-year-old thought. I don't understand why this needs to be a thing.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, what's up? How you been, man? Let me turn off some stuff real quick. There we go. Oh, wait. Shoot, my mic's not working. Oh, God. Um,
That work looks sick.